Now, question one tends to be the question that causes a lot of trouble in the writing task. So I'm going to look at this question that we had in our pre. And it was question one in the production écrite. En général, à 18 ans, les jeunes aiment trouver un emploi et être indépendants. So this was the stimulus comment, if you like, from the text. At 18 years of age, les jeunes aiment trouver un emploi et être indépendants. They like to find a job and to be independent. So I'm going to answer this question right now. L'été dernier, vous avez décidé de gagner votre propre argent. Racontez comment vous avez trouvé un travail, ce que vous avez fait et comment vous avez vécu cette expérience. So 3 aspects to it. Comment vous avez trouvé un travail, number 1. So I'm going to need to structure my answer like that. That's the first thing I'm going to deal with. Ce que vous avez fait comme travail, what you did in the way of work. Et comment vous avez vécu cette expérience and how this experience was for you. So let's look at an answer to that. For my intro, my first point, comment vous avez trouvé un travail? I'm going to say at the start of last summer, I was broke, I needed work, and then I'm going to say, I thought of my uncle who has got his own business. I spoke to him, he offered me work. So not so much technical vocabulary in there. I'm going to call this point number 1 here. Obviously I wouldn't include this in my answer, but just to gather my thoughts. And I'm going to say, début, these are the key words that I'm going to use. I'm going to say début de l'été dernier. I'm going to need that. I'm going to use être fauché, to be broke. And then I'm going to, talk, had a need to get money, avoir besoin de trouver du travail. I'm going to say that as well. And then I'm going to say, thought of my uncle, so penser à mon oncle. And he's got his own business. I'm going to say sa propre entreprise. I'm going to talk about that, and I talked to him and he offered to take me, I'm going to use the verb offrir. So those would be the kind of key expressions that I'm going to use to talk about point number 1. And so let's write point number 1 here. I'll put this in italics here and in blue. And now I'm going to write my answer here in black. So, au début de l'été dernier, j'étais vraiment fauché. And the girls, we say fauché avec un E, si nécessaire. Okay, j'étais vraiment fauché, and I had a need. I'm talking it over time. It wasn't just like that. I needed money. It was kind of over time. It's a bit vague. I'm going to use the imparfait here. So j'avais besoin de trouver du travail. Okay, and I'm going to say I thought of my uncle, and straight away that is a passé composé now. So j'ai passé composé, j'ai pensé à mon oncle. And I'm going to say il a son propre, il tient sa propre entreprise. I could use the verb avoir or tenir or posséder, to possess. I've forgotten an S here on the j'avais. Okay, and now I'm going to say il tient. I'm going to use the verb tenir, that's the present tense, like venir, je viens, tu viens, il vient. Et ça c'est il tient. Il tient sa propre entreprise en ville, okay, in town. And I spoke to him. Now, I spoke is just j'ai parlé, and I spoke to him, je lui ai parlé. Je lui ai parlé. Et il m'a offert du travail. I put a little exclamation mark there, and he offered me work. So il m'a offert, again passé composé here. We'll talk about the tenses a little bit a little bit later. I'm going to say I started in the middle of July, and I could just pick a date to keep it simple. J'ai commencé le 14 juillet, or j'ai commencé à la mi-juin, in the middle of June. I could say that. So, alors, j'ai commencé à la mi-juin. So that's my point number 1 talked about there, and now I have dealt with point number 1. I can kind of tick that off here now. Comment vous avez trouvé un travail? Now the next thing I need to do is talk about what I did do. So this is point number 2 here. I'm going to write point 2 here, and I'm going to think of a bit of, I'm going to say, I started every day, and I'm talking about every day, so I need to talk about the imparfait, lots of repeated actions. Okay, so I started at 9 o'clock every day, and I went to the post office for him, and I delivered letters to the post office, I answered the telephone, I typed some emails, I welcomed customers, and I made the tea a bit. So I'm going to need some basic verbs here. I'm going to say, aller à la poste with some letters. And I'm going to say répondre au téléphone. And I'm going to say taper des courriels simples. I'm going to say classer des documents, to kind of categorize some documents and so on. And I'm going to use accueillir les clients. So I'm going to use these, and maybe make the tea a bit, préparer du thé. So all of these verbs here now, I'm going to use these all in the imparfait, because I'm talking about repeated actions that I had to do every day while I was working. So once again now, I'm going to leave that vocabulary on the screen for a moment, and I'm going to say aller à la poste. So for example, regarding my work, so en ce qui concerne mon travail, je commençais, I started at 9, à 9 heures. Je commençais à 9 heures chaque jour. And I finished at 5 o'clock. Et je terminais à 16 heures. I can use the digit. Et je terminais à 16 heures. Okay. And I'm going to use these. J'allais à la poste. I went to the post office. Je répondais au téléphone. Je tapais des courriels simples. Je classais des documents. J'accueillais les clients, et je préparais le thé. Et voilà, ce sont les tâches que j'avais à accomplir. Okay, and sometimes I packed some boxes, or some, maybe I prepared some items to send out. Now to send out, back up to the blue here, expédier, and des various things, des articles, expédier, to send articles, to send out things, or des colis, expédier des choses. So I could use that as well. And certains jours, maybe one other little point here, certains jours, a few days, je préparais des articles à expédier. I prepared some items to send out. And I put them in boxes, and I closed the boxes, and I labeled the boxes. Je les mettais dans des boîtes, les fermais et les étiquetais, and labeled them. Now, so again, I've got more imperfects here. Je préparais des articles à expédier. Je les mettais, AIS, again, un imparfait. Je les mettais dans des boîtes. Je les fermais. Je les fermais. I closed the boxes. Again, the imparfait here. I could put in another je les fermais, but I can, just like in English, I put them in boxes, closed them, and labeled them. So I don't need the je again. Et les étiqueter. Étiqueter is étiqueter, back up here in blue. Étiqueter is to label. Une étiquette is a label, actually. And so and then point number 3 is point 3 is to talk about how it was, the experience. So I'm going to say about my working with my uncle, it was very beneficial to me. So I'm going to say in blue now, être bénéfique. I'm going to use that expression, to be beneficial, and I'm going to say it taught me some discipline. Okay, so apprendre à être motodiscipliné. So it's a little bit tricky here now. It taught me motodiscipliné, to discipline myself, to be disciplined. Motodiscipliné, and then I'm going to say, and to work with other people, travailler avec d'autres personnes. So that's essentially what I'm going to say. And it allowed me to discover the world of work. That would be découvrir le monde du travail. And I'm going to say my boss was a good boss. My uncle was a good boss, and that's un bon patron. Un bon patron. And I was impressed by him. So that would be être impressionné. Okay, so again, and this is my point number 3, and this is the vocabulary in blue that I'm going to use. I'm going to plan out and deal with point number 3 now, and I'll leave that in italics. So I'm going to say travailler, to work with, travailler avec mon oncle pendant 8 semaines. To work with my uncle for 8 weeks, pendant, during 8 weeks, was very beneficial. A été, passé composé, a été, has been, okay, a été, has been, and très bénéfique. Très bénéfique pour moi. And it taught me to discipline myself. So I'm going to use this expression here. It taught me. Cela m'a appris. Passé composé again. Cela m'a appris à m'autodiscipliner. And to work with other people. Et à travailler avec d'autres personnes. So taught me, cela m'a appris à m'autodiscipliner et à travailler avec d'autres personnes, with an S here. And I discovered the world of work. J'ai également découvert le monde du travail. So it's very simple. J'ai découvert le monde du travail. I said my boss, I wanted to say my boss was my uncle was a good boss. So mon oncle était un bon patron. He was a good boss. I put an exclamation mark here. And why the imparfait here? Because we're describing him. Était un bon patron. And he gets on well with his staff, and he impressed me. What about to get on? That's s'entendre bien avec. And what about staff? Le personnel. Le personnel, the staff. So I'm going to say, il s'entend bien, present tense, he does get on well with them. Il s'entend bien avec son personnel. Et avec les clients. Et avec ses clients. And he impressed me. I was impressed. Or he impressed me. Il m'a impressionné. He impressed me. And that was it. And I've dealt now with all 3 points. I can stop here. Maybe I can wrap up with one sentence by saying voilà pour mon travail l'été dernier. Voilà pour mon travail l'été dernier. Et c'est fini. And now I'm going to make sure that I use paragraph markers here. I'm just going to push this in here. That's my 3rd point, and I'm going to get rid now of my vocabulary because we put it in here. And again, I'm going to divide it up into paragraphs. I want to do that. And now point number 2, I'll take out the vocabulary. And again, point number 1 at the top here. And again, that is my full answer on screen. So our first writing task needs to be a little bit more substantial. I've written 160 words here. This is 160 words, and as I said, that the writing task number 1 needs to be about a page. It'll be about 160 words here. They recommend 90 words. That's not enough nowadays for question 1. You're talking about perhaps doubling that. I could have added some more detail here. But the important thing is that I dealt with all 3 points. Point number 1, comment vous avez trouvé le travail? Comment, how you got the work. Point number 2, what you did. And every day, again, we're talking about the imparfait. Let's look at the verbs we've used here. Commencer, terminer, aller, répondez, taper, accueillir, classer, préparer, étiqueter, and all of those verbs in blue there in the imparfait, because they're the things you were doing every day. That's point number 2. And point number 3, what was it like? Working for him was very beneficial. It has been a very beneficial. It has been. A été has been a very beneficial thing. And what it taught me to be auto-disciplined, self-disciplined, and autodiscipliné en français, et à travailler avec d'autres personnes. Et voilà, ça c'est la réponse à cette question.